What kind of car do you buy when a sedan is too small and an SUV or a pickup truck is simply too big? I have the solution right next to me here. You buy a station wagon, kind of the best of both worlds. Now, this isn't any station wagon. This is the 2024 Volvo V60 Polestar Engineered. And it's not just any old Volvo station wagon. This thing has some crazy power, more power than I was even expecting when I picked it up, and even when I started looking at it. This thing can rip. I'm James, this is Test Drive, and I'm so excited to show you this Volvo V60. Let's get started. So, when I said it has power, I wasn't kidding. We have 455 horsepower, 523 pound-feet of torque. Now, this is a plug-in hybrid vehicle. It's actually the only way you can get a V60 in the plug-in hybrid. You've got to get it Polestar Engineered. Now, let's actually break that down. The engine that we have is a 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine that's making 312 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. Now let's take a look at the electric motor that exclusively powers the rear wheels. This is, however, though, an all-wheel drive system. Now that is going to give us 134 horsepower and 228 pound-feet of torque. It can also do 64 kilometers of range on a full charge, and I've been charging it with my regular house outlet wall on the outside of my house for, I park it at night, and by the morning, I almost have a full battery. So I say 6 to 10 hours, depending on how low the battery is, and depending on how cold it is outside, your charge times may vary a little bit there too. So when we talk about Polestar Engineered, what does that mean? Polestar Engineered is actually like a tune shop. You can actually go on the website and you can see if the Volvo that you own can be Polestar enhanced. Now that gives you things like throttle response, off throttle response improvement, gear shift speed, gear shift precision, engine performance, and torque for all-wheel drive. Now, all that comes on the V60 by default. It comes straight from the factory like that, as well as some nice brakes, a nice front strut, and it's just crazy fast. All right, so starting off as usual with the front end for the Volvo V60 Polestar Engineered. It's a whole sentence, and you can see we have a badge to show everybody that we have the max performance that we can get out of this V60. We also have these nice hammer looking daytime running LEDs. We do have a bunch of parking sensors as well as a front-facing camera because we've got 360 camera on this thing. Nice big Volvo badge. I like this bottom diffuser as well. We have some cooling for what looks like the battery cooling as well, and it's just a fantastic looking front end. It's very sleek. It looks like a sedan front end, but then as you can see, I showed you that we have the side profile where you can kind of see the car continues, and it has plenty of room, but this is one of my favorite looking Volvos, hands down. So now let's take a look at the Volvo from the side profile. And again, looks absolutely fantastic. Love this gray paint that we have. Really stands out with these nice looking rims, as well as you can see the Polestar Brembo brakes, Polestar Engineered. It says that right on the brakes, and they're an excellent color. This paint plus those brake calipers make a perfect match. We also get really nice turn signal LEDs here on these mirror caps, nice and big, exactly how you want it. And then we have keyless entry, one touch on the little sensor here, it'll lock the door. And then if you put your hand in, it unlocks the standard stuff, really easy to use. Then we move over into the front a bit too. We have the charge port right up here on the driver's side, plug that thing in. When it comes to SUV versus sedan, you can tell how low of a ride height this station wagon has. It's more on the sedan side, but the space on the interior is more SUV. That's why it is the best of both worlds. Let's take a look at the rear. So next we move onto the rear, where again you can see how short the vehicle is, how much taller I am than the vehicle is. But we do have a nice Volvo badge, Polestar Engineered badge once again, V60 badge. There's no exhaust because of the fact that it's an electric or a hybrid vehicle, so you don't really need one, but it would be nice if it had an exhaust note. Next up, we have these tail lights that are at this point iconic because you see them on a lot of Volvos. And last but not least, let's open the trunk. Of course, the tailgate is automatic. This is where I say, you don't have the ride height of an SUV, but you definitely have the space when you look at how much space we have in here. I can fold the seats down. I have a pass-through for the middle seat. I can fit just about anything in here. Maybe the height-wise you are losing versus an SUV, but honestly, I don't care. This is really well designed to meet the best of both worlds, to meet somewhere in the middle between sedan and SUV. This is the best solution, and it's quick, and it gets even better. So let's hop in the interior. So now we are in the back of the Volvo V60, and the elephant in the room, the thing that stands out the most when you look at the Volvo V60's interior is definitely right here. This is the yellow seat belts, the excellent touch. It really works well with the black interior, splits it up nicely. Who knew that all you need was a seat belt to make things a little bit less boring on the interior wise? Because the rest is pretty much black and like some stitching, but we do have a Bowers & Wilkins sound system. I do have a vent right here for the air to come back to me, and I have 2 sets of heated seats for the passenger here and the passenger here. There's a middle seat, and we'll talk about that in a second. I do have 2 USB charging ports here as well. Plenty of leg room. This seat back here is very comfortable, which I wasn't expecting to really find, but it's very, very comfortable. I've got just enough leg room. I'm 5'11". I sit behind my driver profile, no problem. If I didn't sit on the floor when I drove, I'd have a lot more foot room than I do, because I can see that the passenger, if there was one next to me, would have a lot more foot room, which is important to note. A little bit of cargo storage here. Nice panoramic sunroof. We love it. It's just a great place to spend time. I could do a road trip back here, no problem. I am extremely comfortable and I really like it. Now, last but not least, there is a middle seat, because obviously there is a seatbelt, right? And I mean, if there's nobody in the middle seat, I have these cup holders that can pop out. I like that little mechanism. Really cool. And then I can see the pass through for the back seat if I need it. But I can fold that guy up and say, for whatever reason, you're going to pinch and you need to fill that middle seat. I don't know who's going to do this, but for the purpose of testing, hopefully you can still see me in the camera. Okay. Yep, I got a cramp on my foot doing that. Oh, God. Ouch. Oh, my God, my foot's cramping. Oh, my God. Okay. Okay, move this. Okay. Okay. So this, basically, there's no way. There's like this hump here for, I guess, the transmission column. I mean, it's not uncomfortable if you're like this, but if you have 2 other people, it's like, I'm in your foot space. I'm in your foot space, because there's no way I fit like that. But anyways, in case you're curious, there is a middle seat, because it has a seat belt. You can use it. Do you want to? I'll leave that up to the owners. All right, let's check out the front. All right, so now I am in my favorite seat of the vehicle, the driver's seat of the Volvo V60 Polestar Engineered. Very nice. The seats are extremely comfortable, very well designed. I think Volvo has one of the best seat designs and one of the best seat comforts in the market. Not many people has come close to them. It is so ergonomically good for my legs. I fit in here so well. I can't adjust the bolstering, which I found interesting, but I can adjust like this little leg rest thing that I have down here. But I'll talk more about like the adaptive suspension and stuff like that when we take it on the road. So let's move on. I have the steering wheel here. Very nice, very standard. There's not a lot of labeled buttons. You kind of got to press them and figure it out, especially if you've never driven a Volvo before. Luckily, I have, so that wasn't a problem for me, but I do have cruise control settings. I've got some, by media control, stuff like that. And then I have like a button that I can press to basically turn off the map, because that's it. You can't really play with your gauge cluster that much. There's not really much customization. There's not really much subscreens or anything like that to go through. It's either the Google map is on or it's not. So there you go. Left hand side, I have some memory seats for the seats, which is very nice. Got 2 of them. Bowers & Wilkins sound system speaker right there. And then I have the button to open the tailgate. Very nice. This entire car, the infotainment, the gauge cluster, it's all powered by Google, which I like. I say let the software companies make the software and let the car companies make the cars. Perfectly fine. The only thing is, it's a very minimalistic interior. There isn't that much way of buttons. I have my front defrost, rear defrost, and then my media controls, pause, play, skip, and the volume knob. That's where it ends. And then I also have the 4-ways, which is, you have to have those. But anyways, that's it. That's where it ends. I've got nothing else. To control my HVAC stuff, I have to go through the media. To control my heated seats, heated steering, I have to go through the media. There's no ventilation in this one. I have 360 cameras. Again, there's no button for that other than in the infotainment system. So I don't hate it. I don't really care. Personally, it's worked well for me. I like having Google Maps built in. Also, another amazing feature is that we actually have the YouTube app built in. So when you're charging or when you're doing anything else, you can just load up a YouTube video. If you're eating in your car, you're somebody who likes to do that, you're on the move a lot like I am, just load up YouTube, watch a quick video, maybe watch a PRN video, and have your lunch or whatever it is you're doing. It is fantastic to have, and I love that it's there. We also get the yellow seat belts up here as well. The only thing that's like a little bit weird is I have to to do everything, I have to access this. Even to change my drive modes, I have to use the infotainment. They could have put a button somewhere for that, but anyway, some people will like it, some people will hate it. I'm basically indifferent. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I would have liked a button for certain things, but as long as it doesn't glitch, we're fine. Now move a little bit lower, I have this really nice crystal shifter that most Volvos have. We've seen them before. Very nice touch. Feels very premium. And then I have the, you know, kind of switch, the turn switch for the stop start. Auto stop start button is here. 2 cup holders, very little bit of space. That's the only thing where it's like, you'd like to see more, because, you know, you're kind of buying this because you don't want an SUV, but you want the space of an SUV. This definitely doesn't have the storage of an SUV because don't got much going on there. But I do have a USB-C charger here to, you know, connect to the wired only CarPlay and Android Auto. That is a thing as well. Now, last but not least, the key fob is actually quite interesting. It is orange. You're not going to lose this. I mean, I can see this wherever I am in the house. It stands out to me. But it's funny. The key makes me want to drive the car that much more because it's orange and it's cool and it just drags my eye. And then I think about driving this thing and how good it is to drive this thing. So let's drive the thing. Let's take it on for a test drive. On the road now, Volvo V60, Polestar Engineered, best place to be. Honestly, I've had this we're approaching the end of the week now when I'm filming this thing, and it is just such a great car to drive. I have one pedal driving on. If I push the shifter into B, it actually does regenerative braking, and I can basically come to a full stop with just one pedal, like a traditional EV. Now, I do have some drive modes, which again, I have to go into my infotainment and go. I have hybrid, Polestar, which turns on the engine, which I'll show you in a second here, and then pure and constant all-wheel drive. Pure is obviously the full EV mode, which I can drive in almost fully all the time. But let's push the Polestar button. You can hear the engine kind of slightly tick on when I do that, and then we'll just kind of approach this speed limit change here, and let's go the speed limit. Whee! All the way past the click point. Yeah, 455 horsepower. This car is not playing around. If you really go from like a lower, like from a dig, really, you really do feel the battery, the torque, the instant electric torque kind of take over first, and then the engine kicks on after. So there really isn't no boost delay or anything like that. It's just fired down the road. It's the second you need it, which is really nice. You get up to speed, no problem at all. It's super quick. Again, that's why like a lot of people I think are calling this a sleeper kind of station wagon, because if you don't know, it's the untrained eye, well, it's just a boring old station wagon. Nobody knows. Nobody knows that I've got, like, you know, different suspension. Nobody knows that I've got an adjusted front strut. Nobody knows that I've got Brembo brakes on here. They don't know. And nobody knows that I've got 455 horsepower from a gas and an electric engine. They don't know that. But I do, and I'm fast. And that's the thing about this being a plug-in hybrid, is that I'm pretty good on gas too, which is quite surprising. Right now, I am doing 3.9 liters per 100 kilometers. I'm going the speed limit, no problem. Now, let me try to show you what my average is. So my average has been, for about, like, say, 100 kilometers, has been 5.8 liters per 100 kilometers. Fantastic. And I've been driving in mostly hybrid mode just to see, and now during the end of the week I'm going to start pushing it. I'm going to start really putting it into Polestar mode, but even then I'm still using the battery. I'm just using it a little bit quicker. Another great thing about the fact that this is partially an electric vehicle is that no, it doesn't have an exhaust note. No, that maybe is kind of boring, but I can go fast. I can speed up and slow down without anybody really realizing what I'm doing, like that. Whee! See, when you go from a lower speed and you really rip it, it's just so much fun. And you get that instant gratification of that instant torque from the electric motor. The electric motor, I believe, only powers the rear wheels exclusively. The engine will do the rest. So, but man, this is just such a solid car. Like, the seat comfort is so good. Like I said in the interior tour, like, it just holds me in place so well. Now, I have like the stiffer steering, because there is a setting here that you can say steering feel firm, which I have on. So let me go ahead and turn it off as I take this corner here, and we'll see what the difference really is. The steering is still stiff, I find, no matter what, but it is definitely more loose. Things considered, I like the firm feel. I like to feel direct, and it definitely does when you put it on. And then I also have, where in the driving dynamics options, I have like a creep mode, so I have that off because I want this to drive like a fully electric vehicle, so that when I come to a full stop, it just basically holds the brake for me. It's almost like a brake hold, until I decide to start going again, just like an EV would. And like, so right now I'm coming up to a stop sign. I will let my foot off the gas pedal or the accelerator, whichever one you call it. It's still got an engine, so it's the accelerator. You know, and I actually did that too early. This has a lot of stopping power in brake mode, which you can't really, I haven't found a setting to really adjust that. But basically, boom, full stop, and we're on our way again. So that's really nice. And I'm a fan of one pedal driving. I know a lot of people aren't, but the good news is you don't have to do it. You can have this drive like a completely normal combustion engine car and forget you even have a battery, but reap the rewards of a hybrid electric. Now this car is around the $77,000 mark. It's really expensive. It's like one of the only station wagons that I would even consider buying. I think they're nice. I think the only way you can get it in the hybrid version is to get the Polestar Engineered. I just think it's the way to go. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting enough here for 77. I wish I had ventilated seats. There's certain things like that where, you just wish you had them, but I don't care that I don't, because it's like I've got all the space I need. I'm not massive. I have all-wheel drive, and I'm quick. And okay, yeah, you're gonna pay a lot for that, but I would. If I had 77K laying around, I would, and I think you would too. And that's the thing. I think it's got such a high price point that I just don't see very many out on the road. And now I have a trained eye. I know when I look at a V60, if it's a plug-in hybrid, it's the quick one. But I just don't see any. I've been looking for them all week. I've been on the road quite a bit this week, and I just don't see any. And I have a feeling that's because they're quite expensive and out of a lot of people's budgets. Now, another thing I want to mention that I don't think I got a chance to mention is that we do have adaptive suspension. Sort of. It's interesting. So to adjust the rear, I think you actually have to jack up the car. But to adjust the front dampers, there's like two little knobs. When you open the hood, when you pop the hood, there's two little knobs, and it's kind of like a graph. I don't understand it. I haven't really had the vehicle long enough to really explore that, nor do I want to play with it too much, so I don't want to upset anything. So you can kind of turn those knobs as a graph, and extremely loose, I'm assuming it means the suspension up front will be looser. Extremely tight, which means you'll have a rigid one. I have to actually read the owner's manual and see, but it's just something I don't want to play with because I don't own the vehicle. Usually I'd play with it, but yeah, you can adjust it. It's just weird that there's no buttons for it. I'm pretty sure Volvos in the past have had adaptive suspensions that you can actually press a button and then it does it automatically. This is weird that you have to do that. It's weird but cool at the same time, because I can just be like, 1 second, it is cool. It is cool. It's cool that it's there as an option if you need it. Most people might not even know that it's there, but it is. It's pretty cool. As for I'm pretty sure nobody's adjusted this. I don't think anybody has. It is quite a bouncy ride from what I have, so I'm pretty sure it's default setting, right in the middle between firm and comfort. And it's nice enough that I don't think anybody just buying this that's not somebody who's really gonna play with that or even know that it exists is gonna really even bother with it. You're only gonna really do that if you're going on the track, or you really want some extra performance. You want the ride to be a little bit more rigid. Then maybe you're going to play with that, but just general owners, I don't think they're going to play with it at all. But I don't think you need to, because it is a bit bouncy at some points, but still really, really solid. My back doesn't hurt. I feel very comfortable. Yeah, it's just such a solid station wagon. Almost called it an SUV. Oh boy, great station wagon. Probably one of the best in the market. Again, it's a sleeper. Nobody knows that you can go as fast as you can go. Only really you do, and other people that know about the Polestar Engineered stuff. And I wonder, that website has me so interested, because I did look at it, and you can kind of put in your VIN, put in your model number, stuff like that, and it'll tell you if you could get a Polestar Enhanced. It'll tweak, I think it tweaks the software and stuff like that. They do a whole bunch of stuff to it to basically pull more performance out of your engine or your battery, possibly both, which is really cool. So you can go and get it aftermarket, and it doesn't void warranties. It doesn't do anything like that, because it is basically from the factory, except the only difference with the V60 is it comes from the factory, and it's just so much fun to drive around town. This is a great grocery getter, so much space if you need it, and again, you're not trading off anything. If you want the sedan kind of feel with the SUV space, you get a station wagon, you get all this speed, you really can't go wrong, especially if you have the money for it. Not to mention, you might actually save a little bit of money at the pump, because I'm doing so well fuel economy wise when my battery is charged up fully. Pretty nice. 64 kilometers isn't a lot. No, it isn't. But I think it's enough for what I need it for, like grocery getter, kind of back and forth to work, daily commute. I think it's enough for most, actually. And that's what I think is important. And I just absolutely love it. Love it. Go test drive it, go buy it. It's awesome. It's so much fun. I hope this has been a passionate review, because this is one of those cars, again, that I am pretty passionate about. I like it. I've never driven a station wagon in my life, and I still love it so much. So there you go. Really great car. Go check it out for yourself, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. With that being said, though, I'll leave it here for the Volvo V60 Polestar Engineered. If you liked the video, make sure you liked it. Make sure you subscribe if you want. You can also go watch another video. That helps us out quite a bit as well. With that being said, I will see you next week. See you in the next car. Take care.